Imagine waking up in a jungle one day. It's been 30 years. You don't know that the world has changed completely while you were still fighting a war that ended before most of the people you see on the street today were born. That's not science fiction. That happened to a real man. His name was Hiroo Onoda, and this is probably the most incredible story you're going to hear this week. To understand what happened, we have to go back to 1944. World War II was at its most brutal time. Japan controlled much of the Pacific. In that context, the Japanese Imperial Army had a secret intelligence school, the Nakano School. There, they trained the best officers in guerrilla, espionage, and sabotage, and in something else. In the philosophy that giving up was the worst disgrace possible. Hiroo Onoda was one of his best students. At 22, he received a mission to go to the island of Lubang in the Philippines and defend it using guerrilla tactics. The orders were simple and absolute. Fight until the last moment. Never give up. Onoda arrived in Lubang in December 1944. But something went wrong. The Americans landed, and most of the Japanese soldiers died or surrendered. Onoda and 3 of his companions escaped to the mountains, and that's when it all started. In August 1945, Japan surrendered. The war ended, but nobody told Onoda, or rather they told him, and he didn't believe it. The army launched rockets from planes. The war ended. Surrender. Onoda read them and came to a conclusion. It was enemy propaganda. What came next is hard to describe. As the world rebuilt what the war had destroyed, as Japan became an economic power with skyscrapers and high-speed trains, Onoda continued in the jungle, eating coconuts, hunting rats, repairing his rifle with improvised pieces. In 1972, his last companion was killed. Onoda was left completely alone. 30 years, in a war that only existed in his head. In 1974, a young Japanese named Norio Suzuki arrived in the Philippines looking for Onoda. They talked for days. Onoda listened, but his response was clear. He would only surrender if his superior commander gave him the order directly. Suzuki flew to Japan and found Major Taniguchi, now retired bookworm. Taniguchi flew to the Philippines. He went into the jungle. And on March 9, 1974, he uttered the words that no one had been able to say to Onoda in 30 years. The fight is over. You can surrender. Onoda left the jungle with his uniform perfectly preserved, his loaded rifle and his samurai sword. He was 52 years old. He had entered that jungle at 22. In Japan, he was received as a hero. The president of the Philippines forgave him for the deaths he caused, recognizing that Onoda believed until the end that he was still fulfilling his duty. Hiroo Onoda lived until he was 91 years old. He died in 2014 in Tokyo. Until the end of his life, he never repented of what he did. There is one question left without an easy answer. Was Onoda a fanatic, a hero, or just a man who never had the opportunity to see the world as it really was? That's up to you. If this story made you think, subscribe. Every week, we bring stories as incredible as you've probably never heard in school.